Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tano Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tano Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tano Mohan Prachodayat. Om Gam Ganeshaya Namah. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Vandanan Mrityormukshiyamamritat. Om Haurim Baglamukhi Hum Fat Swaha. Om Haurim Baglamukhi Hum Fat Swaha. Om Haurim Baglamukhi Hum Fat Swaha. Om Shri Gurudeva Datta. Om Shri Gurudeva Datta. Om Shri Gurudeva Datta. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahi Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tano Mohan Prachodayat. Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namah. Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namah. Om Shri Sai Nathaya Namah. Jai Mohanji. My name is Nazima and I'm from the Datta Tapavan Ashram in Durban. And today I will be reading chapter 13 and 14 from the Sai Sat Charitra. More Sai Leelas, disease cured, Bimaji Patil, Bala Shimpi, Bapu Sahib Bhuti, Alandi Swami, Kaka Mahajani, Tatopand of Harda. The instructable power of Maya. Baba's words were always short, deep, full of meaning, effective, and well balanced. He was ever content and never cared for anything. He said, "Though I am a fakir, have no house or wife, and though leaving all care, I stay at one place. The inevitable Maya teases me often, though I forgot myself, but she cannot forget me. She always envelops me. This Maya, the elusive power of the Lord Shri Hari, harasses even Lord Brahma and others. Then, what to speak of a poor fakir like me? Those who take refuge in God will be freed from her clutches with His grace." In such terms, Baba spoke about the power of Maya. Lord Shri Krishna has said in Uddhava in the Bhagavad that the saints are his living forms, and see what Baba has said for the welfare of his devotees. Those who are fortunate and whose demerits have vanished, take to my worship. If you always say Sai Sai, I shall take you over the 7 seas. Believe in these words, and you will be certainly benefited. I do not need any paraphernalia of worship, either 8-fold or 6-fold. I rest there, where there is full devotion. Now read what Sai did for the welfare of those who surrendered themselves to him. Bimaji Patil One Bhimaji Patil of Narayagaon, Taluka Junar, district Pune, suffered in the year 1909 from a severe chronic chest disease, which ultimately developed into tuberculosis. He tried all sorts of remedies, but to no effect. Losing all hopes, he ultimately prayed to God, "Oh Lord Narayan, please help me now." It is a well-known fact that when our circumstances are well, we do not remember God. But when calamities and adversities overtakes us, we are reminded of Him. So Bhimaji now turned to God. It occurred to him that he should consult Mr. Naha Sahib Chandorkar, a great devotee of Baba in this respect. So he wrote to him a letter giving all details of his malady and asking for his opinion. In reply, Mr. Nana Sahib wrote to him that there was only one remedy left, and that was to take recourse to Baba's feet. Relying on Mr. Nana Sahib's advice, he made preparations for going to Shirdi. He was brought to Shirdi and taken to the masjid and placed before Baba. Mr. Nana Sahib and Shama Madhavaro Deshpande were present there. Baba pointed out that the disease was due to the previous evil karma and was not disposed to interfere. But the patient cried out in despair that he was helpless and sought refuge to him. As he was his last hope and prayed for mercy, Baba's heart melted and said, "Stay cast of your anxiety. Your sufferings have come to an end. However oppressed and troubled one may be, as soon as he steps in the masjid, he is on the pathway to happiness." The fakir here is very kind, and he will cure the disease and protect all with love and kindness. The patient used to vomit blood every 5 minutes, but there was no vomiting in the presence of Baba. From the time Baba uttered the words of mercy, the malady took a favorable turn. Baba asked him to stay in Bhimabai's house, which was not a convenient and fit place, but Baba's order had to be obeyed. While he was staying there, Baba cured him by 2 dreams. In the first dream, he saw himself as a boy, suffering the severe pain of a flogging, which he received for not reciting his poetry lessons before his class master. In the second dream, someone caused him intense pain by rolling a stone up and down over his chest. With the pain thus suffered in dream, this cure was complete, and he went home. He then often came to Shirdi, gratefully remembering what Baba did for him and prostrated before him. Baba also did not expect anything from devotees, but remembrance, unswerving faith and devotion. People in Maharashtra always celebrate Satyanarayan Puja in their homes every fortnight or month, but it was the Bhimaji Patil who started a new Sai Satya Vrata Puja instead of Satyanarayan Vrata Puja in his house when he returned to his village. Bala Ganpat Shimpi, another devotee of Baba by the name of Bala Ganpat Shimpi, suffered much from a malignant type of malaria. He tried all sorts of medicines and decoctions, but in vain. The fever did not abate a jot. So he ran to Shirdi and fell at Baba's feet. Baba gave him a strange recipe, in this case as follows: give a black dog some morsels of rice mixed with curd in front of the Lakshmi temple. Bala did not know how to execute this recipe, but no sooner he went home, then he found rice and curd. After mixing them together, he brought the mixture near the Lakshmi temple, where he found a black dog waving his tail. He placed the curd and rice before the dog. The dog ate it, and strange to say, Bala got rid of his malaria. Bapu Sahib Bhuti. Shriman Bapu Sahib Bhuti offered once from dysentery and vomiting. His cupboard was full of patent drugs and medicines, but none of them had any effect. Bapu Sahib got very weak on account of purgings and vomitings, and therefore was not able to go to the masjid for Baba's darshan. Baba then sent for him and made him sit before him and said, "Now take care, you should not purge anymore," and gestured with his index finger. "The vomiting must also stop. Now look at the power of Baba's words." Both the maladies disappeared and Bhuti felt well. On another occasion, he had an attack of cholera and suffered from severe thirst. Dr. Pillai tried all sorts of remedies but could give him no relief. Then he went to Baba and consulted him to what to drink and would allay his thirst and cure the disease. Baba prescribed an infusion of almonds, walnuts, pistachio, a kind of dry fruit, boiled in sugared milk. This would be considered a cause for fatal aggravation and the disease by any other doctor or physician, but it implied obedience to Baba's order. The infusion was administered, and strange to say, the disease was cured. Alandi Swami. A Swami from Alandi with a desire for Baba's darshan came to Shirdi. He suffered from severe pain in his ear, which prevented him from getting sleep. He was operated for this, but it served no purpose. The pain was severe and he did not know what to do. While he was returning, he came to take Baba's leave. When Shama Madhavro Deshpande requested Baba to do something for the pain in the Swami's ear, Baba comforted him, saying, "Allah acha karega, God will do good." The Swami then returned to Pune, and after a week sent a letter to Shirdi stating that the pain in his ear had subsided, though the swelling was there, and in order to get the swelling removed, he went to Mumbai for operation, but the surgeon on examining the ear said that no operation was necessary. Such was the wonderful and potent effect of Baba's words. Kaka Mahajani. Another devotee named Kaka Mahajani suffered once from diarrhea. In order that there should be no break in his services to Baba, Kaka kept a tambia with water in some corner of the masjid, and whenever there was a call, he would go out. Sai Baba knew everything. Kaka did not inform him of this disease, thinking that Baba would of his own cure it soon. The work of constructing the pavement in front of the masjid was permitted by Baba, but when the actual work began, Baba got wild and shouted out loudly. Everybody ran away as Kaka was also doing the same. Baba caught hold of him and made him sit there. In the confusion that followed, somebody left a small pouch of ground nuts there. Baba took a handful of ground nuts, rubbed them in his hands, blew away the skins, and gave the clean nuts to Kaka and made him eat it. Scalding and cleaning the nuts and making Kaka eat them went on simultaneously. Baba himself ate some of them. Then when the nuts were finished, Baba asked him to fetch water as he felt thirsty. Kaka brought a pitcher full of water. Then Baba drank some water and made Kaka also drink it. Baba declared, "Now your diarrhea has stopped and you may attend to the work of the pavement." In the meanwhile, other people who had run away returned and started to work, and Kaka, whose motions had stopped, also joined them. The groundnuts medicine for diarrhea. Are groundnuts medicine for diarrhea? According to current medical opinion, groundnuts would aggravate the disease and not cure it. The true medicine in this, as in other cases, was Baba's word. Dattopant of Harda. A gentleman from Harda by name Dattopant suffered from stomach ache for about 14 years. None of the remedies gave him any relief. Then, on hearing Baba's fame that he cures diseases by sight, he ran to Shirdi and fell at Baba's feet. Baba looked at him kindly and gave him blessings. When Baba placed his hand on his head and gave him Udi with blessings, he felt relieved and there was no further trouble without the malady. Towards the end of this chapter, 3 cases are cited in footnotes. Madhavro Deshpande suffered from piles. Baba gave him decoction of Sonamukhi cenopods. This relieved him. Then after 2 years, the trouble reoccurred and Madhavro took the same decoction without consulting Baba. The result was that the disease aggravated, but later on it was cured by Baba's grace. Kaka Mahajani, elder brother, Ganga Darpan, suffered for many years from stomach pain. Hearing Baba's fame, he came to Shirdi and requested Baba to cure him. Baba touched his belly and said, God will cure. From that time, there was no stomach pain and he was completely cured. Nana Saheb Chandorkar also once suffered from acute stomach pain and he was restless the whole day and night. Doctors administered injections which produced no effect. Then he approached Baba. He told him to eat burfi, a kind of sweetmeat mixed with ghee. This recipe gave him complete relief. All these stories show that the real medicine that cured the various diseases permanently was Baba's word and grace, and not any medicines or drugs. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Chapter 14. Rathanji Wadia of Nanded, Saint Mauli Sahib, Dakshina. In the last chapter, we described how Baba's word and grace cured many incurable diseases. Now we shall describe how Baba blessed Rathanji Wadia and gave him an issue. The life of the saint is naturally sweet. His various doings, eating, walking, and his natural sayings are also sweet. His life is bliss incarnate. Sai give bliss to his devotees as a means of remembrance. He gave them various stories of duty and action, which ultimately led them to true religion. His object may be that people should live happily in the world, but they should never be cautious, but they should be ever cautious and achieve the object of their life, self-realization. We get human body as a result of merits in past births, and it is worthwhile that with its aid, we should attain devotion and liberation in this life. So we should never be lazy, but always be on the alert to gain our goal in life. If you hear the Leelas of Sai daily, you will always see him. Day and night, you will remember him in your mind. When you assimilate Sai in this way, your mind will lose its fickleness. And if you go on in this manner, it will finally be merged with pure consciousness. Rathanji of Nanded. Now let us come to the main story of this chapter. In Nanded, in the Nizam state, there lived a Parsi mill contractor and trader by name Rathanji Shahpurji Wadia. He had amassed a large money and had acquired fields and lands. He had cattle, horses, and conveyance, and was very prosperous. In all outward appearances, he looked very happy and contented, but inwardly he was not so. Providential dispensation is such that no one in this world is completely happy, and rich Ratanji was no exception to this. He was liberal and charitable, gave food and clothing to the poor, and helped all in various ways. The people took him to be a good and happy man, but Ratanji thought himself miserable, as he had no issue, male or female, for a long time. Just as kirtan, singing glories of the Lord, without love or devotion, song without rhythmical accompaniments, Brahman without the sacred thread, proficiency in all arts without common sense, pilgrimage, repentance, and ornamentation without a necklace are futile and useless. So is a householder without an issue. Ratanji always brooded on this matter and said in his mind, would God ever please to grant me a son? He thus looked morose and did not relish his food. Day and night he has enveloped with anxiety as to whether he would ever be blessed by us with a son. He had a great regard for Das Kanu Maharaj. He saw him and opened his heart before him. Das Kanu advised him to go to Shirdi, take Baba's darshan, fall at his feet and seek his blessings and pray for an issue. Ratanji liked the idea and decided to go to Shirdi. After some days, he went to Shirdi, took Baba's darshan, and fell at his feet. Then opening a basket, he took out a beautiful garland of flowers and placed it around Baba's neck and offered him a basket of fruits. With reverence, he then sat near Baba and prayed to him, saying, many persons who find themselves in difficult situations come to you, and you relieve them immediately. Hearing this, I have anxiously sought your feet. Please do not disappoint me. Sai Baba then asked him for dakshina of 5 rupees, which Ratanji intended to give, but added that he had already given 3.4 rupees from him and that he should pay the balance only. Hearing this, Ratanji was rather puzzled. He could not make out as to what Baba meant. That was the first time he thought that he had come to Shirdi, and how was it that Baba said that he had earlier got 3.14 rupees from him? He could not solve the riddle. But he sat at Baba's feet and gave the balance of the dakshina asked for, explained to Baba fully as to why he came and sought his help, and prayed that Baba should bless him with a son. Baba was moved and told him not to worry, and that thence onward his bad days had ended. He then gave him Udi, placed his hand on his head and blessed him, saying that Allah would satisfy his heart's desire. Then after taking Baba's leave, Ratanji returned to Nanded and told Das Kanu everything that took place in Shirdi. He said that everything went on well there, and that he got Baba's darshan and blessings with prasad. But there was one thing which he could not understand. Baba said to him that he got 3.14 rupees before. Please explain as to what Baba meant by this remark. He said to Das Kanu, I never went to Shirdi before, and how could I have given the sum to which Baba referred? To Das Kanu too, it was a puzzle, and he thought much over it for a long time. Some time afterwards, it struck him that Ratanji had received some days ago a Muhammadan saint by name Mauli Sahib in his house and had spent some money for his reception. This Mauli Sahib was a well-known saint of Nanded and worked as a porter. When Ratanji decided to go to Shirdi, this Mauli Sahib turned up at Ratanji's house. Ratanji knew him and loved him, so he gave a small party in his honor. Das Ganu got from Ratanji the memo of expenses of this reception, and everybody was wonderstruck to see that the expenses amounted to exactly 3.14 rupees, nothing more, nothing less. They all came to know that Baba was omniscient, and though he lived in Shirdi, he knew what happened outside, far away from Shirdi. In fact, he knew the past, present, and future and could identify himself with anybody. In this particular instance, how could he know the reception given to Mauli Sahib and the amount spent therefore, unless he could identify himself with him and be one with him? Ratanji was satisfied with this explanation, and his faith in Baba was confirmed and increased. In due time, he was blessed with a son, and his joy knew no bounds. It is said that he had in all a dozen issues, out of which only 4 survived. In a footnote towards the end of this chapter, it is stated that Baba told Rahu Bahadur Hari Vinayak Sathe after the death of his first wife to remarry and that he would get a son. R.B. Sathe married second time. The first 2 issues by his wife were daughters, and he therefore felt very despondent, but the third issue was a son. Baba's word did come true and he was satisfied. Dakshina. Now, we shall close this chapter with a few points about Dakshina. It is a well-known fact that Baba always asked for Dakshina from people who went to see him. Somebody may ask a question, if Baba was a fakir and perfectly non-attached, why should he ask for Dakshina and care for money? We shall consider this question broadly now. First, for a long time, Baba did not take anything. He sought burnt matches and filled his pocket with them. He never asked anybody for anything, whether he be a devotee or otherwise. If anybody placed before him a paisa or 2, he purchased oil or tobacco. He was fond of tobacco, for he always smoked a bindi or chilam. Then, some persons thought that they should not go to saints empty-handed and therefore place some copper coins before Baba. If a paisa was placed before him, he used to pocket it. If it was 2 paise coin, it was returned immediately. Then after Baba's fame had spread far and wide, people began to flock in numbers and Baba began to ask Dakshina from them. It is said in the Shruti that puja of the gods is not complete unless a golden coin was offered. If a coin was necessary in puja for the gods, why should it not be so in the puja of the saints also? Ultimately, the Shastras laid it down that when one goes to see God, king, saint, or guru, he should not go empty-handed. He should offer something, preferably money. In this connection, we may notice the precepts recommended by the Upanishads. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad said that the Lord Prajapati advised the gods, men, and demons by one letter. The gods understood by this letter that they should practice Dharma, self-control. The men thought or understood that they should practice Dharma, charity. The demons understood that they should practice Daya, compassion. To men, charity or giving was recommended. The teacher in the Taittiriya Upanishad exhorts his pupils to practice charity and other virtues. Regarding charity, he says, give with faith, or even without it, give it with magnanimity, liberally. Give with modesty, awe, and sympathy. In order to teach the devotees the lesson of charity and to remove their attachment to money and thus to purify their minds, Baba extracted dakshina from them, but there was this peculiarity, as Baba said, that he had to give back 100 times more of what he received. There are many instances in which this has happened. To quote an instance, Mr. Ganpatro Bodas, the famous actor, says in his Marathi autobiography that on Baba's pressing him often for dakshina, he emptied his money bag before him. The result of this was, as Mr. Bodas says, that in later life he never lacked money, as it came to him abundantly. There were also secondary meanings of dakshina, in many cases in which Baba did not want any pecuniary amount. To quote two instances, number 1, Baba asked 15 rupees as dakshina from Professor G.G. Narke, who replied that he did not have any money. Then Baba said, I know you have no money, but you are reading Yoga Vashista. Give me dakshina from that. Giving dakshina in this case meant deriving lessons from the book and lodging them in the heart where Baba resides. Number 2, in the second case, Baba asked a certain lady, Mrs. R.A. Karka, to give 6 rupees as dakshina. The lady felt pained as she had nothing to give. Then her husband explained to her that Baba wanted 6 inner enemies, lust, desire, avarice, etc., to be surrendered to him. Baba agreed with this explanation. It is to be noted that though Baba collected a lot of money by dakshina, he would distribute the whole amount the same day and the next morning. He would become a poor fakir as usual. When Baba took his Mahasamadhi, even after receiving thousands and thousands of rupees as dakshina for about 10 years, he had only few rupees in his possession. In short, Baba's main object in taking dakshina from his devotees was to teach them the lesson of renunciation and purification. Postscript. Dr. B.V. Dev of Dana, retired Mamladar and a great devotee of Baba, has written an article on this subject in Sri Sai Leela magazine, volume 2, page 6 to 26, in which he says the follows. Baba did not ask dakshina of all. If some gave dakshina unasked, he sometimes accepted it, at other times refused it. He asked it of certain devotees only. He never demanded it from those devotees who thought in their minds that Baba would ask for it and then they should pay it. If anybody offered it against his wish, he never touched it, and if he kept it there, he asked him to take it away. He asked for small or big amounts from devotees according to their wish, devotion, and convenience. He asked it even of women and children. He never asked of all the rich for it, nor of all the poor. Baba never got angry with those of whom he asked dakshina and who did not give it. If any dakshina was sent through some friend who forgot to hand over the same to Baba, he reminded him of it and made him pay it. On some occasions, Baba used to return some from the amount tendered as dakshina and ask the donor to guard it or keep it in his shrine for worship. This procedure benefited the donor or devotee immensely. If anybody offered more than he originally intended to give, he returned the extra money. Sometimes he asked of some more dakshina than what they originally intended to give, and if they had no money, asked them to beg or borrow from others. Of some, he demanded dakshina 3 or 4 times a day. Out of the amount collected as dakshina, Baba spent very little for his own sake, for buying chilim and fuel for his dhuni, and all the rest he distributed as charity in varying proportions to various persons. All the paraphernalia of the Shirdi Sansthan was brought by various rich devotees at the instance and suggestion of Radha Krishna Mai. Baba always used to get wild and scolded those who brought any costly and rich articles. He said to Mr. Nana Sahib Chandokar that all his property consisted of one kupan, one straight piece of cloth, one kafni, and a tumrel, and that all the people troubled him with bringing all these unnecessary costly articles. Women and wealth are the two main obstacles in the way of our Paramatma, spiritual life. And Baba had provided in Shirdi 2 institutions, Dakshina and Radha Krishna Mai, for. Whenever they come to him, he demanded Dakshina from them and asked them to go to the school, Radha Krishna Mai's house. If they stood these 2 tests well, if they showed that they were free from attachment for women and wealth, their progress in spirituality was rapid and assured by Baba's grace and blessings. Mr. Dev has also quoted passages from the Gita and Upanishads and shown that charity given in a holy place or to a holy personage conduces to the donor's welfare. What is more holy than Shirdi and its presiding deity, Sai Baba? Bow to Shri Sai, peace be to all. Om Para Brahmaya Vetmahe Shiva Tatvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vetmahe Shiva Tatvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vetmahe Shiva Tatvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Please join us tomorrow for the next chapter. Jai Mohanji.